5 props in 60 seconds. In this video, I have 5 plays that I love for NFL Sunday. After each of them, I have 60 seconds to try to convince you to put your own money on them. I really like this video. You guys have enjoyed the concept, and it's pretty fun. It's a little fast-paced, up-tempo. Let's dive in. Before we dive into the picks, I have a couple of housekeeping notes. Number one, early on Saturday, I posted a video with some more props and my anytime touchdown parlay. I'll link that video at the top of the description. We've cashed those parlays like crazy this season. It's been nuts. Got another 3 players I like to get into the end zone, and hopefully they do just that. The other video, if you care only about player props, or maybe you care more about sides and totals, money lines and stuff, who I think wins games or the over or under, I encourage you to go check out the other video. We posted that earlier, normally on Wednesdays. You can avoid not knowing when these videos drop by just clicking that like button and clicking that subscribe button. That's pretty free. My last note, third and final note, Sleeper. I've talked with them a few times this week. All right, because they have the best offer out there, and I want you guys to get money in your accounts. I mean, hey, the more money they'll give you, the better, obviously. But right now, Sleeper, if you sign up using my code COS, they're like a daily fantasy app like PrizePicks, Underdog Fantasy. They'll match your first deposit 100%, up to $200. So if you deposit $100, they'll get you an extra $200. So you have a total of $300. I've never seen a daily fantasy app offer this sort of offer before. It's only available until Halloween, so October 31st. I encourage you to get in on that. Also, in addition to that 200% deposit match, they'll give you a Dak Prescott free square for Sunday Night Football for him to get 1 yard. So pretty cool. Take advantage of that offer. If you don't sign up today, you still have a couple more days. Just make sure you use code COS. Help support me if you do that. You guys came in for the props, though. We got 60 seconds for each of these. How this goes, I'm going to say what the prop is. Then I will dive into my 60 seconds. The first one of the day, Jared Goff, under 34.5 yards for his longest passing completion, minus 115 on DraftKings. This is not his under in pass yards or his under in completions. Under in longest completion, 34.5. We need Jared Goff's longest pass of the day to be 34 yards or less. I would play this at 33.5. Start the timer, ready, set, and go. Goff is under this line, actually only one game. He's over in 5 of 6. Not great for us. In 3 of those games, though, that he went over, his longest completion went to Jameson Williams. Why is that important? Well, because Jameson Williams is suspended for 2 games. Big loss for them. Now, you could argue, hey, they're going to be able to replace that with guys like Khalif Raymond, a big play guy. Tim Patrick's been already playing a good amount. And maybe Allen Robinson. But does Jared Goff have the confidence in any of those guys throwing it deep? Maybe Tim Patrick, but I don't know if he's really going to chuck it deep. So I look at this. Everyone else on this team has a 22.5 longest reception or lower. Amon-Ra is the longest. And the Titans are actually not a great matchup for him. 3rd fewest pass yards per game. 2nd fewest pass yards per attempt. 2nd fewest pass yards per game. Only 2 QBs have actually gone over this line versus them this season. Malik Willis and Josh Allen. I just don't see Jared Goff breaking the pocket. I think you'll see the Lions maybe leading in this game. They're 11.5 point favorites. I don't know if they're throwing it a ton, and I don't see them using some trick plays. So I really like this one. Jared Goff under 34.5 longest completion. Hopefully I was within the timer. Next week, Lions play the Packers. So again, why would we use some trick plays on a team as lowly as the Titans? So I like this under 34.5 longest completion. My second play is going to be a rushing yards ladder. And I need to make sure I forgot to set up a timer for that last one. So I didn't even know where I was, but hopefully I did a good job. Now I got a timer going. Here's my second one. It's a rushing yards ladder. It's J.K. Dobbins. I like his over 74.5 rushing yards at minus 110 on Bet365. That's a 1 unit play. And then I also am putting just a quarter unit on 100 plus rushing yards, which is plus 280. Bet365. I want to say FanDuel had the same 74.5 line. Their 100 plus was plus 220. It's all a little bit differing odds there on Bet365 versus FanDuel. I like them both. Let's dive into J.K. Dobbins. Start my timer. So far this year, obviously Dobbins has kind of been up and down. He's the lead back for the Chargers as they face the Saints. In week 7, Dobbins 14 of their 19 running back carries, but only 40 rush yards. They face the Cardinals. The Cardinals' rush defense is not good, but the Cardinals' defense in general, they really only stop one thing, and that is they pick that thing. It could be a tight end. It could be your rushing game. And they basically loaded up the box and said, we're going to stop your rushing attack. And they did just that. This is not the matchup I think the Saints are going to be able to do it. Since week 3, the Saints, 2nd most rush yards per game and the highest yards per carry at 6.2 to running backs. This team cannot stop the run to save their lives. 5 running backs have 10 or more attempts versus them. Saquon at 147, Hunt 102, Bucky and Tucker are on the same team, and Javonte last week at 88. We're looking at his rush attempts line for J.K. Dobbins, 17.5. Like, I'm laddering up. I really like J.K. Dobbins on Sunday. I think he gets in the end zone as well. Hint, hint, he might be in the anytime touchdown parlay in the player props video, 4Ps, posted on Saturday morning, evening, morning, afternoon. So J.K. Dobbins, we're big fans. Yeah, we like his over 74.5 rush yards and another quarter unit on the 100 plus. My third play is going to be, I think, my first completions prop of the season. And that would be Anthony Richardson, under 16.5 completions, minus 120 on BetMGM. Also, I like it at 15.5. Let's talk about Anthony Richardson. So far this season, Richardson is only over in one game. 9, 17, 10, and 10 completions. Last week, a big 10 for 24. He's now completing actually less than 50% of his passes. He's been bad, and I'm not even counting a game he get injured in, which always is a way to get it out, is if he gets injured, but we're not going to count on that. Anthony Richardson's been bad. I don't need to tell you that. In week 1, when they faced the Texans, he completed 1 pass then. He faced the Texans once again, or not 1 pass, 9 passes. Barely half this line. And among 39 qualified QBs, Richardson 38th in passer rating and has the highest off-throw target rate. This is just a guy that can't, he just has not shown the ability to dink and dunk down the field. It's trying to hit home runs every single time at the plate. It's like Joey Gallo. If you know, you know. But look, Jonathan Taylor makes his return this week. I don't know how he's going to get there to get to 17 completions. So I'll fade him. I'm also not 100% confident he finishes this game. He could either get injured, which he's had a tendency to do. Not banking on that. Also, Joe Flacco's played better. Like that, Anthony Richardson under 16.5 completions. If I told you Anthony Richardson get benched at halftime because they're down 14-0 for Joe Flacco, would that surprise you? I'd argue you'd probably say no. So I will fade Anthony Richardson here. And I like that one, under 16.5 completions. I don't really like the under pass yards because all he does is chuck it deep. Also, free square, Alec Pierce over in longest reception. He screwed me last week. He's going to get it done this week. My next play, fourth one, is going to be another rush yards ladder. It is an interesting one. And I ask you, all I ask is if you're watching this, bear with me. Honestly, it might take me 60 seconds to just convince you in general to put your money on this guy. Let's talk with Taysom Hill of New Orleans Saints. Over 14.5 rush yards at minus 110 on Bet365. Just a half unit play. Nothing crazy there. And then a quarter unit on the 25 rush yards, and then over 30.5. Remember, like over 30.5, that's a random number. That's how DraftKings has it. They have those alt lines. They don't give you a 30 plus, they give you over 30.5. That's plus 400. The 240, plus 240 is 25 plus. So in total, we have 1 unit risk on Taysom Hill. If he does happen to get 31 or more, we'll win a little over 2 units. All right. Let's start this timer, and I need to talk about why I like Taysom Hill. I'll put up some numbers first. Taysom Hill so far this season, 5 for 35, 3 for 18, 6 for 24. In his career, 5.4 yards per carry. Last year, when he saw 5 or more carries, Taysom, all the numbers are on the screen. I'm not going to go through all of them. You can read them off while I'm talking. Why do I like Taysom Hill? Well, let's talk about this offense for the Saints. Number 1, Derek Carr out. Number 2, Rashid Shaheed out. Number 3, Alvin Kamara, broken hand. Taysom Hill makes his return from a rib injury. Do I think Taysom Hill is going to randomly get 15 carries? No. But I think if you're a Kubiak, the offensive coordinator for the Saints team, you have to find some ways to get some playmakers out there. And Taysom Hill's a good playmaker. Having a guy at the QB position that can just run and get you maybe 5 or 6 yards a carry, better than whatever the hell Spencer Rattler's doing. So I think we could see Taysom Hill maybe involved a little bit more gadgety, maybe on first downs instead of just being in the red zone, get him some more looks. Wouldn't shock me at all if Taysom Hill gets 3 to 5 carries at least. He's been doing that already. But what if he got to 10? I don't know. So, hey, this is just I'm only risking 1 unit because it is kind of hey, we're taking a shot here, but it's better to be a week early than a week late. And so I'm taking a shot here that Taysom Hill gets involved. They have a lot of injuries here. Their offense sucks. They have nothing to lose handing the ball up to Taysom Hill or hiking it to him and letting them do something fun. Also, I think he'll get some attempts regardless. Let's hope they use him a little bit. Taysom Hill, I might have broken the timer on that one. I don't know. But let me live. Taysom Hill, just 1 unit on his rushing yards ladder. And my final play of the day is actually a game pick, if you will. It's a little interesting, so bear with me. I'll give some pivots and stuff like that if you don't have 2 of the books that have this market. And it is the Falcons and Buccaneers race to 30. Neither. Minus 150 on DraftKings. One of the most juice props that I'll probably ever get. I think this is minus 160 on BetMGM. I'd play it to minus 200. Now, the premise of this bet, if you've never placed it, and it's hard for me to describe where it is on FanDuel or on DraftKings. It's like all the way on one of their final taps game props, I want to say, something along those lines. But in order to cash this one, we need both the Falcons and Buccaneers to both score less than 30. So I don't need a combined score of 30. I just need a 28 to 27 final score. So neither team can break 30 plus points. I like the under 45.5. That's one of my leans in our best bets video where we talk about every single game. Let me talk about why I like this under though, and this neither. The last time these two teams faced was that Thursday night game, that insane game. They both scored 30 points. They actually 36-30. Falcons won an OT. Kirk Cousins threw for 509 yards. This time around, we see the Falcons barely as favored on the road, despite the Buccaneers losing two of their best pass catchers. Chris Godwin and Mike Evans are out. I don't know. And the Buccaneers defense hasn't looked good, but why the heck are the Falcons only -2.5? That feels weird. I feel like when you see an offense for the second time in a single month, the advantage, I feel like, goes to the defense. Todd Bowles, this defense needs to figure it out, and I think they will. I'm not saying they hold this Falcons team to less than 20 points, but I think they figure something out, and they at least limit them below 30. That might be a long shot, but we'll see. On the other side, the Buccaneers, I don't know if their offense is going to be looking great without Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. Mike Evans, obviously a guy they use heavily in the red zone, and only two teams have scored 30-plus against Atlanta, Bucks in week 5, and then the Seahawks last week. So I expect their defense to be better. I just think everyone's going to be on Falcons -2.5. I don't think that's free. And if it's not free, the Bucks probably aren't scoring a lot. So I think this is a lower scoring game. So I like this neither option for race to 30. It's a little bit of a weird one, but hopefully you understand why I'm taking it. And I think we can cash that one at -150. I really think that should be like -200 something. So I think there's some value there, even though it doesn't look like it, but I think that's a winner. So those are my favorite picks in the video. Hopefully you have a great day. Taysom Hill, I'm a big fan of you, man. J.K. Dobbins, big fan. Anthony Richardson, I hate you. And Jared Goff, just dink and dunk down the field, my man. Those are the picks of the day. And then no points in Falcons, Buccaneers. Those are the 5 picks. A reminder, I'll have 2 other videos live on the channel. Number 1, the top one is more player props and an anytime touchdown parlay. Go check it out. Bottom one is going to be my favorite spreads, totals, money lines of the week. And then we'll have day 1 of the ladder challenge posted probably sometime Sunday morning. Back for revenge. See you guys in the next one. Peace.